All right. Hey, everybody. Dr. Ross here, coming at you. This is Friday afternoon, September 18th. I wanted to create a really quick video about this week's technology project. I've gotten a couple emails from some students who have been struggling with a few different aspects of it. And I've been doing my best to reply to all of you, so thank you for those emails. But I also wanted to just create this quick video as a way to address many of your concerns at once and hopefully keep you from getting stuck to the point where you can't make forward progress. So the two things that I really want to address, number one, the R script and the best way to use it. And then number two, some potential error messages that can occur. So let's start with the R script. As I sort of said before, when you want to create an R script, you can go to File, New Project, File, New Project, R script. That's the button right there. You can also hit this button here. This will also just create a new R script. And when you do that, your script comes up here. I suggest treating this as you would a Word document. And similar to how you would, if you are writing a paper for another class, right? You would type things and you would save it pretty often. I would encourage you to save this reasonably often, just so you don't accidentally lose your work if this accidentally gets closed. The first thing that I just wanted to talk about is about workflow. I've had a few students email me, and the sense I got from them is that they were typing all of their commands down here into this console, and then later after the fact, trying to copy and paste them up here to the R script. And that works okay, but there's actually a better workflow process that I think you'll appreciate a lot more. So if you're creating our R script, let me just go ahead and create this. I like to give a little title. I'll just call this Dr. Ross's Friday afternoon video with a smiley face because it's a fun video. So rather than type things down here, like commands that I might be interested in, let's say, 5 plus 3, that gives me 8. And then later on, I'm interested in having 8 times 7, and that gives me 56. So instead of typing the things down here and then trying to go and copy and paste them up into the R script, I'm going to recommend that we start by typing our commands of interest up here in the R script. So let's say, 5 plus 3, that's a command that we're interested in. Let's also say, 8 times 7, maybe that's something that we're interested in for some reason. So now we have these commands already saved up here. Notice as I type them up here, I'm not actually running anything down here in the console. So I'm not actually executing these commands, or I'm not running these commands. To run them, I'm going to want to hover my cursor, or have my little blinking cursor item in front of the line that I want to run, or at the end of the line that I want to run. Here I want to run line 7. That's the 5 plus 3 line. So I can hover there and I can hit this run button. Right? This will run the current line or current selection. So if I run that, it runs 5 plus 3. You'll notice that the 5 plus 3 got inputted down here, and my cursor immediately jumped down to the next line of code. So this is the preferred workflow in an R script. You can be working up here, typing your commands, and then running them. Let's say later on I was interested in, let's say 10 squared, and then I take that number and divide it by 25. So that's my command that I'm interested in. I can hit run to run it down below. You can also, if you don't want to keep dragging your mouse up here to the run button, you can also hit Control Enter. At least on a Windows system, Control Enter will also execute that command for you. So you can see down here that we got 10 squared divided by 25 turns out to be 4. If you ever mess up in your command, like if you accidentally type some nonsense and then you try to run your command, so Control Enter, it will try to run down here and your error will be created, or rather an error will be created. And so the other thing that I wanted to talk to you about today was error messages. Oftentimes you will get error messages if you've entered something incorrectly. And I've gotten a number of emails from students who entered something incorrectly, got an error message, knew that they had entered something incorrectly, but were really struggling to figure out what it was that they had entered that was incorrect. And so I just wanted to highlight some potential issues here. The biggest, or I should say several big issues that can arise come when we're trying to create objects. And in this technology project, the second one, you had to create two objects. You had to create the Titanic ticket class vector and also the Titanic data frame. So in another screen, I have pulled up the prompt and I just copy and pasted the Titanic ticket class command from that. So I've copied it. Here, I'll go ahead and paste it. And it's going to be a little weird. If I try to run this now, it's going to give me something sort of incorrect, right? Something incorrect happened here. Notice this red type, something kind of broke. And that's no good. So we have to actually figure out what broke. And the trouble, unfortunately, is that as we copy and paste things from the PDF, it doesn't always copy everything over appropriately. In this case, the file, like the phrase file equals, didn't get copied over correctly. That's not the only mistake. We're going to see a few. So I have to fix that. Other mistakes include the fact that this first parenthesis, quotation marks, the first quotation marks didn't copy over. And this set of quotation marks didn't quite copy over either. So we needed sep to equal quotation mark, comma, quotation mark. So this is just an unfortunate feature of PDFs. And I'm sorry I didn't warn you about this. I think this has thrown a number of you through a loop. Doubling back and making sure that everything is typed in precisely as it should be. Actually, as I'm looking at this now, I realize there's an extra backslash here. That's incorrect. So I think now this should be correct. Let's try control entering this. Okay, this seems to have been correct. Notice the command, we didn't get any red errors. And up here, we have our T-ticket object that's been created for us. So now we should be able to keep typing. Notice what I did though. When there was an error, I didn't go down to the console. I just went back up to my place in the R script. I tweaked some of the things that I had entered. I made sure it was looking good, and then I ran it again, and this time it ran correctly. Just to cap off this video, I'm gonna go ahead and copy and paste the Titanic ticket class, I'm sorry, the Titanic data frame as well. So this is the other command. Notice there are similar mistakes. So this seems to have gotten broken. That file got broken. That should be a quotation marks there. Header equals true. Sep equals this here. If you're ever interested, I'm happy to tell you what some of these individual pieces mean. I might do that at some point. All you really need to know for now is that it's reading the data off of this particular website. And it's assigning it column names and telling it how to cut up the data frame so that R can make sense of it. So let's control enter to run this. And we've created our Titanic data class. We can see that up here in the upper right. We've created, I'm sorry, our Titanic data frame. Let me see, what else can I talk about? Very briefly, I'll say some people have reached out because they've been having trouble specifically with the Titanic command. I think that some of the issues have come from typing this incorrectly, and specifically this, this sep piece at the end. If we change that comma in there, so previously it was quotation mark, comma, quotation mark, but if I get rid of that, notice what happens if I run this again. Now it has 2,208 observations of one variable. So now it thinks that there's only a single variable present. That is because previously the variables were separated by a comma, and R knew to look for that and to cut up the data frame accordingly. Without this, it thinks that this is a spreadsheet with just one column as opposed to 5. And if you go to enter commands such as, well, I should stay up here. If you go to enter commands such as Titanic, let's even say like 2, 2, right? That would be the second row, second column, and we run that. We get an error message. It says it's null. If I throw this back in, all of a sudden, now it recreates the Titanic object, recognizing that there are 5 different variables, 5 different columns, and if I enter the second command, we get an actual answer here. We get that it's crew. So again, I want to keep this video pretty quick. It's just telling you a little bit about workflow in the R script, telling you about potential errors that can occur. The final error, I'll say, sometimes happens when people are not connected to the internet, right? We're pulling this file off of the internet. So we really need to be able to connect to the internet to grab that. If you keep getting error messages, don't be alarmed. It just means that there's something slightly incorrect in the line that you've typed. Double back and see if you can figure out what's incorrect. See if you can fix that. Yeah, I think that's mostly what I wanted to say. Thanks so much, everybody. Good luck. Keep up the good fight, and I will talk to you all next time.